Okay, everybody knows about DACA. We've heard about DACA. What does it even mean? It stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And it's a program that we've had in place now for over a decade for immigrant children who grew up in the United States. And the requirements are that they got here before 2007 and they came before they were 16 and they don't have a criminal history, etc. But here's the thing to know about DACA recipients or dreamers. They grew up here. They came to the United States because their parents brought them here and they went to high school here. Many of them went to college here. They got advanced degrees. They're married. They have children. They have pets. They have jobs. They have people who rely on them. And they're incredibly gifted, talented, and part of our culture and our society. The dreamers really make us who we are as a nation. And it's absolutely absurd, honestly, that at this point we have not created a pathway to permanent status because our DACA recipients, our dreamers, are still just renewing their work permits every 2 years. And even that program has been caught up in federal litigation before the immigration courts. And anybody who's paying attention, who knows a dreamer, or knows anything about dreamers, supports the idea that these young people should stay in this country. And yet, there's all this talk and pushback against a pathway to status for the dreamers. And that really, really needs to stop. The DACA program, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, is just a work permit. Just provides work permit to the young people who qualify, who came to this country when they were younger and they have otherwise qualified for the program. DACA at this point in and of itself doesn't contain a pathway to permanent status. All of the proposed legislation on that has been blocked in Congress. So the dreamers who want to get legal status have to find other ways, and they're limited. It may be because they've married a U.S. citizen. It may be because they have a job that will petition for them. Or they might even qualify for a humanitarian case, like a trafficking visa or crime victims visa. But it's extremely limited, and there is not a way for someone who is a dreamer or who has DACA to get permanent status just because they have DACA. And that's something that I really hope we see fixed by Congress very soon. There are hundreds of thousands of dreamers in this country. These are young people who have DACA, who have been renewing their work permit for over a decade, and their status of having DACA is in limbo because the program has been caught up in federal litigation and it might be revoked. And what happens if these hundreds of thousands of young people who grew up here, graduated, went to college, have jobs, have families, lose their status? Well, theoretically, they would all get their work permits canceled and they'd get put into deportation proceedings. That means they would have to leave their jobs and they would have to fight to defend themselves to stay here, and their defenses would be limited. Frankly, it would be a disaster. Economically, it would impact all of the people who love them and rely on them, and it doesn't make sense no matter how you look at it. So really protecting and preserving our dreamers and creating a pathway for them to stay here safely is the best thing for everybody in the United States. There's just no question about it.